Hey everybody, welcome back to the LuckyDog podcast. This is your host, Elias Roush. This podcast is sponsored by EliasRoushMedia.com, photo, video, digital media production. Today we are discussing the top 10 movies of 2022. Quick disclaimer as always that, these are the movies that I have seen. I haven't seen, obviously, all of them. I want to say I've seen probably about 45, 50 movies last year. But these are my top 10 movies. You can kind of rearrange them. I'm probably in the future going to change them in my mind, what really stood out. But these are the ones that stood out to me right here, right now. And I would just kind of want to capture this time and share some of my favorite movies with you. Top 10 lists of the year are always my favorite to kind of compare what everybody else's favorite movies of the year were, as well as getting a little bit of insight on the movies that I have not seen. And so it's just kind of a fun way for everybody to kind of share their favorite experiences. I'm doing non-spoilers, by the way, so just to kind of get everybody in the mix of what's happening. But yes, we're just going to give a quick 1 or 2 sentence synopsis of how we felt about it, and then from there we're going to kind of dive a little bit more in the detail of the film, just why it deserves a place on my top 10. So let's hop into the list. I know nobody wants to stick around and dilly-dally these days, podcasts. If you're watching a lot of podcasts these days, you don't want to just sack around and, listen to the Billy Bobbies and the advertisements and whatnot. So let's get to it. Number 10 on my list. And again, just because the movie did not, maybe your favorite movie didn't make it on the list. Maybe I haven't seen the movie. Maybe there was some sort of reaction I had going into it that I was just a preconceived, was like, maybe this isn't going to be a good movie, and then I just walked out and I just wasn't feeling it. No, let's just try to keep it as unbiased as possible, but also, respect everybody else's lists if you got it. And again, check out the other lists from the other years as well. I went back and checked out some of the other previous top 10 lists of 2020, 2021. You can go on LuckyDogPodcast.com and check out all of the lists scroll at the bottom of the homepage. Links are all in the description. So number 10 on the list is The Menu. Now, The Menu is a film that came out for the mass audiences via streaming, I want to say late December, maybe mid-December, something like that. But it kind of feels like it could have gone in like the September-October slot. And with saying that, it's got this White Lotus, Chef's Table, kind of mystery of, everyone in a bottle film going to this single place and having a single experience. Ergo, The Menu is a group of individuals, some of our favorite actors, Nicholas Hoult, Anna Taylor-Joy, Voldemort, Ralph Fiennes, tons of great actors. And from there, we're basically just having one crazy ass night. And this movie does kind of unravel in very similar plot threads, very similar subsections and storytelling techniques that other murder, mystery, thriller type movies will have. And the thing is, I think this movie does it really good. It's one of the most entertaining, kind of dark comedic movies of 2022. And it just jumped up there right above 13 Lives for me on the 2022 list. It just got there. Between the blend of the comedy and the thrilling nature of it, some little bit of horror on it, just sprinkle a little bit of horror. It was a blast to watch and a lot of fun. And I believe we're out of there in let me see. I believe we're out of there in less than 2 hours, which is amazing for anything. Yeah, 106 minutes, which is almost unheard of for 2022 movies. It's insane how long movies have gotten these days. Even though a lot of these movies actually have ended up on my top 10 list of the year. Number 9. Jordan Peele's Nope. So Jordan Peele's Nope was the third, I believe it's the third feature in under his belt, following up from Us, which I believe was a 2019. Let me see. Us movie. Let me see if Us movie. I think that was a 2019 release. And we have some of his favorite actors, some of them returning, some not returning. Kaluuya being one of them. Nope has some of the best cinematography of the year. Now, this is the primary reason I had it up there with my top 10. When I saw it, it was just a theatrical ride. Now, I was in the movie theater kind of like midday. I don't like going too crazy during the day, late at night when it's too busy and people talking and all that. But the people that were in there, everyone had generally a good time. We were all like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Like there was a lot of horror aspects that really popped with me visually, from the storytelling to just the sheer scope of the ambition of it. Go back and check out the review we had for Nope. It was one of my favorite movies of the last year. And it kind of calls back what feels like old Spielberg type style movie storytelling. And just go back and check out Nope. It's one of the most visually gripping movies of the last year. I will say that and the performances, obviously, all of those are amazing. The direction, all of that. The reason it didn't get higher is because I think that the overall, the ending could have been a little bit tighter for me, but that's just about it for me. Number 8. Let me have a little suspense with this one. Number 8. The Sandman. No, not the show. Adam Sandler in his drama comedy sports fictional biodoc. It was one of my favorite movies of last year, mostly because of his performance. I kind of like Sad Sandman. Sad Sandler is a force to be reckoned with. Some of his best performances, I feel like, throughout the years. Obviously, he's known a lot for the comedy, but he has some very interesting performances under his belt when it comes to the dramatic side. Think of I haven't seen Spanglish, but I've heard a lot about it. But Uncut Gems being another one. A lot of the dramatic stuff he has with regards to him being like a father figure and like Big Daddy. I think that he plays the dramatic figure well, and he's kind of like, he's not quite down on his luck, but he does that character pretty well. And this is the character that he kind of plays, but it's like a scout, and he's trying to scout for some of the most highest paid or future talent on the NBA. And so it's just something that you wouldn't really peg. Me, I'm not a big sports guy, and so I'm like, sports, they're generally just fine. I only get so excited with it, and I feel like it's a kind of a binary win-lose situation, and I'm just like, if I don't, I'm not a big sports guy. But having him express so much drama and having him express so much humanity into the reasoning of the backstory of the business of basketball gave some real quote unquote insight to how the game how it works. And his dynamic with what is the other actor's name? I think is Hancho Hernan Gomez, I believe he's he's Spanish professional basketball player for the Toronto Raptors of the NBA. And I think this is like one of his first roles, and he's phenomenal in it. I think you can see that he's kind of a up and coming actor, but the more he gets comfortable with Sandler, it just feels like they just bounce off each other, and it's one of my favorite movies of last year. I recommended it to one of my buddies who's big into sports, and he said he really appreciated the recommendation. And so anybody that's a big sports guy out there, this one feels it kind of curves the typical sports drama because it's got Adam Sandler. It's got this tit for tat kind of comedy that you're not really expecting, but there's also this humility that comes along with it. Number 7. That's not the song. What was it? Highway to the Top Gun 2 Maverick Zone. You bet it. You bet it. Tom Cruise did it again. I want to say when I was listening to my other podcast that Fallout, Mission Impossible Fallout, was that 2019, 2018? Well, that might have been 2018, but that would have made it if it was. Tom Cruise always goes balls to the wall, if you know what I mean. Like, ever since Eyes Wide Shut, if you know what I mean. We covered that one too. Top Gun to Maverick. I didn't do a podcast on this. Well, there was tons of movies and TV shows I didn't do podcasts on, mostly because I was consuming so much and I didn't want to get spoiled, and I felt like I was getting behind. But this is a chance to give you a reason why I enjoyed Top Gun 2. Now, I went back, I did the full rewatch. I went back and watched Top Gun 1 from the 80s. I watched them get all greased up, lathered up, and fucking volleyballing it up, and, highway to the danger zone in it and everything like that. Thoughts on the first movie, going into the second one, I was like, this is like a romantic sports film, that happens to take place in the Navy. And I had no idea what to really expect. Or was it the Air Force? Navy? I can't remember. But, anyways, in the forces. And so, I think it's the Navy. But anyways, trips me up because they're flying, but I think they're flying on helicarriers. But anyways, no, they are in the Navy because I remember the outfits. So, the first one, it's fine. It's entertaining. It's straight up 80s galore. It's everything you would expect in, a sports romantic blend of a film. We've seen this before in other sports films. So going into the second one, I had heard really, really high praise of the movie. And I was like, pish posh, don't be so daft. I'm sure it's going to be a fine film. I've seen some of his Mission Impossible films. I was like, wait, what? They did this entire, 90% of the movie, entirely practical? This movie looks and seems and feels impossible because I think without any of these actors, any of the people behind the scenes, Joseph Kosinski or something like that, all these people, the reason this movie works is because Tom Cruise actually did become basically his real life character in the movie. He becomes Maverick. He becomes the teacher. In the first movie, it's all about him and Val Kilmer's Iceman being kind of being hotheads and competing in this toxic masculinity and how you're going to get somebody killed. Well, Top Gun 1, things don't exactly happen in a good fashion manner in a non-spoiler film. And this movie comes back and reckons with it. And he's, I feel like there's this, I don't know what the word is for just having, I don't feel like nostalgia is the right word because it's like having a fondness for something that you used to back in the day, but it's not like so much a fondness of something from back in the day. It's more like seeing someone grow up or seeing something grow up. Seeing the character of Tom Cruise as Maverick grow up feels I don't know, some sort of it just feels good, and seeing somebody, hit a level of actually being and becoming a character. Like, so the first one, Tom Cruise was essentially playing an actor that was, he actually did go up in the flights. He actually did go up, and they, the first one, they actually did do that, a lot of it practical, but going back and watching it, it was very hard to see. It was, a lot of it was kind of chopped up. I couldn't see. I didn't know who was in the pilot. I didn't know who was driving. I didn't know who was flying the plane, where we're going. Things were happening so fast. I didn't know what was going on. This one is so much more clear, concise. You can see everything that's happening. It's a very high concept, which means it's an easy plan for us as the audience to understand and play out and understand what's going on. And on a budget of 170 million, they made Miles Teller. They made I guess he's the only one. They made all of the actors, all of the young actors, and Tom Cruise. Actually, they went up and they recorded it. They actually did the shit. So what you're watching is very much practical, and it's just amazing how they've done it. It feels like an impossible feature, and just talking about it, I'm just like still flabbergasted about how they did it. So, anyways, I was very much on the team Top Gun Maverick because it was an experience, because it's not exactly a documentary, but they actually did the shit. So it's hard to say that it's not, got some sort of documentary-esque value to it, because they just fucking mount the cameras on the fucking planes and they fucking go. And you're like, I feel like you're holding on to this shit. It is fucking bonkers. Watch it on the biggest TV you can, on the biggest screen, loudest system. You're going to be fucking like holding on to your couch, like, like it's going to be nuts. Top Gun Maverick absolutely deserves a place on the top 10 list. So what was that? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Can't count. 6 is Pixar's. Is this Pixar? Pixar's Animation Studios, distributed by Walt Disney's Turning Red. Now, this was a movie I did regret not going back and reviewing, just because this is a movie that kind of got like a soft release. A lot of people say that the Pixar movies since Onward and all the 2021 movies that Pixar has released, and I think like The Good Dinosaur or something, I don't remember. They've been kind of up and down with what they've been releasing, and I kind of forgot what the most recent films they've gotten, but they haven't exactly been what you would say is the consistently high brand that they've normally been. They used to be a very high luxury animation studio, and now some of the stuff they're presenting is a little bit more just standard. This Turning Red movie is anything but standard. It's directed by Domi Shi. She's a Chinese-born Canadian animator director. And this movie has so much life and heart and family. Like Vin Diesel pops out of nowhere, like, family? No, yeah, it's got family. It's got the dynamics that really work from the daughter mother perspective, but you don't have to be either one of those to feel what you're feeling in this film, because they are able to describe and show how growing up can be almost feel like you're turning into a monster. And so it's a massive metaphor for a coming of age film, and it just presents so many opportunities for there to be this really powerful connection with #family. So Turning Red not only has the visual stimulation that the kids are going to want, but it's got the writing, it's got such a kind of a I've said this earlier, tit for tat, but it's got a rhythm to it. There's music that goes along with it. You got like the Billie Eilishes on here and stuff like that. Ludwig Göransson, that's the Mandalorian guy. They've got was it Four Town for Life? Like it was so much fun hanging out with. I didn't think hanging out with these characters. I mean, you're basically following these four girls who are, like 11, 12, and, they're into the One Directions and the boy bands of the day. In this is called Four Town or something like that. And, or H Town. I can't remember what it is. Anyways, yeah, Four Town. And it is just so funny to see. It reminds me of other coming of age movies that I've seen as like dramas, but normally they are so much more sad. They don't have this type of rhythm and direction. This is so much fun, and I would watch it again with the whole family, or just whoever. It's a lot of fun. And again, the animation's beautiful. It's so much pop to it. It just it deserves a place on the top 10. I'm glad that we're able to talk about it here. Four Townie for life. Yeah, and the music's fucking good. I'm not even gonna lie. Number 5. Let me just beep boop bop beep beep boop bop beep. Number 5. Can anyone guess what that is? The Batman. Matt Reeves, the Batman. Okay, so what much more can we say about the Batman? It seems like a project from left field. We go back and check the review to kind of get more details of how I feel about the movie, but the reason that it's overall on the fifth place, I think that's a solid place for it right now. I've gone back and watched a few parts of it and whatnot. It is too long, I'm gonna say that, but the performances, the direction, the colors, it all pops, and I love it. I just like watching and looking at this movie. In ways, it does feel contained in a way that I felt I wanted to be a little bit more open and breathy, but I feel like it's because of how dark it is. There's so much darkness in it. It's just like you don't ever really get to breathe during the day much in this film. And, so going back and having a fun time with it is not exactly what I would say that this movie is, fulfilling. It's not exactly doing that. It is presenting a very solid adult-oriented detective film starring Batman. And, without going into too many more details of the plot, this is a detective film, and it's a detective film first. So, and of course, it's shot by Matt Reeves, which has an impeccable and very interesting style. The more I go back and kind of look at Matt Reeves' style, I had no idea he was the Cloverfield 2008 director. I went back and watched that over the summer 2022, and I was blown away about how big scale and epic that movie felt. I don't think because of the shaky cam of it, I would have been able to watch it in the movies. But that movie, it's monster rating. It's almost like a found footage film, as if Godzilla was, invading New York. And it's just like, it's amazing. It looks super expensive and incredibly shot. I was actually surprised by the performances in there too, as well. TJ Miller actually held his own for a while. But yeah, Matt Reeves has a very interesting style. See, I had no idea he was the guy that did was in the Felicity drama. He wasn't in it, but he was in the making of it. Planet of the Apes 2014 and 2017. Dawn of the Apes, War of the Apes. It's just he's got a very interesting and eclectic style, and just unexpectedly just it's unexpected everything this guy's brought to the table when it comes to his filmography. It's always something interesting. So in epic normally, unexpectedly epic. So the Batman deserves place number 5. Number 4, the Northman. The Northman is one of my favorite pieces of media last year for multiple reasons. You got a spectacular cast. You've got a pretty high concept storytelling of, someone slaughtered the village, and now I gotta go get revenge. It's a classic revenge story. Hamlet, I believe, is what it's based off of. But it's also got Robert Eggers, who has one of the craziest styles you've ever seen. In all of his movies, you're going to see something you've never seen before or experience. His movies are like experiences, but like I just spiked my, Coca-Cola before walking into the movie theater or something like that with mushrooms. Like I just don't know what to expect with his style, and I'm in for a treat, whether it's The Lighthouse, The Vitch, The Northman. This movie is what I wish more movies would attempt to be. It's way over budget, but it's because it's got like the fucking Skarsgård, Nicole Kidman, Anya Taylor-Joy, Ethan Hawke, Willem Dafoe. Everybody's in this fucker. Claus Bang. Everyone's in this shit. And so with a budget of 70 to 90 million, it's a beautiful feature. It feels like at some points you're watching the Our Planet or Planet Earth documentaries just in 4K. You're like, oh my god! And then all of a sudden, fucking Vikings are coming and fucking get your ass. And I'm just like, oh shit! And just like. I'm like, this is extremely depraved. It feels like elements of Game of Thrones, but the action is just off the chain. I'm like, this dude does it all. It's all kind of very heavily influenced by Norse mythology. I was like, this is what I'm talking about. So yeah, there's so many elements that'll make you feel kind of icky and uncomfortable. But what's a good movie without a little bit of some of that sprinkled in? But that's the Northman, and that was by far one of my favorite films of the year. Go back and check the review. The main reason is because it looks like they got down fucking dirty. It looks so disgusting and horrible of a place to be, and that's when I was thinking of like the dirty Game of Thrones episodes when they're actually whacking each other and they like smacking each other on the battlefield and dirt's everywhere, blood. It's just disgusting. It's things that you don't see like that in like maybe say like the MCU, where everything feels ultra hyper digital, I guess. Instead of hyper violent, it's more like hyper digital. Everything just the background looks like they're standing in like a candy cane world or something. I don't know. I generally like Marvel movies and DC movies and all that, but this whole use of CGI just to put anybody anywhere they need to be is just, it's getting to a point where it's just not done effectively, and it feels lazy at this point. It's like, all right, take them to Atlanta, they put them anywhere, they can be on the moon, or they can be in fucking bumfuck Russia or something like it. They could be literally anywhere. So let's talk about a movie that uses CGI well. Triple R, or RRR. The movie, there's so much about this movie I don't even know what to say. The reason this movie gets my number 3 spot is because, like many movies I have on here, especially going from the Batman up, or Top Gun up, they're experiences. Maybe all of these movies are experiences to a degree, but this one, oh my god. Now, couple things you need to know off the top. It is an Indian Telugu language epic action drama film directed by S.S. Rajamouli. Now, apparently, I know very little about the behind the scenes of this movie because I haven't actually done a review about it because it's such a massive review and a massive feature to tackle. I am a little bit nervous to get everything wrong and mispronounce everything, but this is my chance to kind of let it shine and tell you why this is number 3 on the list. This is number 3 on the list because Rajamouli, you have the other 2 actors, Rama and Ram. So 3 of them all have the Ram, Rama, and Raja. That's the triple R title of the movie. They were that confident that this movie was going to be good that they named the movie after all of their names. Now, if that doesn't say some confident shit, I don't know what does. So what is this movie? This movie is an action epic drama of a young girl kidnapped, taken, and needs to be obviously saved. And so Rama Rayo Jr. I'm gonna get all these names wrong, so just kind of might give them little nicknames. Rama has to go back and fight the evil British colonialists, the colonizers, to get his niece back or get the girl back to the village. And basically, it's the unstoppable force meets the immovable object. And we are in the perspectives of both of these individuals. Rama is going to get the girl. Ram is going to do anything to prevent him from getting the girl. And so it is the clash of the titans. I'm talking send the tigers. I'm talking triple backflip into a massive crowd of rioters. Beat every single one of them back. It is jump on somebody's head and do a split on it. I'm talking the craziest fucking action you can think of. I mean, you're like, well, I've seen Avengers. I've seen John Wick. I've seen The Raid 2. I've seen all of these things. I've seen really good action. But I've seen Henry Cavill cock and load his arms style. What gets better than that? Well, this is what gets better than that. This is like every Fast and Furious ridiculous scene, but on top of each other. But they are genuine about it. They are actually like, we are actually serious about it. And it looks, not 100% of it looks real. Like we were talking about the overuse of CGI. I feel like this uses CGI to the benefit of the viewer for pushing the narrative forward in a specific way. I don't feel like just having the background turn whatever. You're in the quantum realm. You're in fucking the mother box realm. You're in the Diagon Alley realm. And they just flip the background. And that's what the overuse of CGI I'm talking about. This type of CGI is using to progress the plot forward, and we're not just using it to plop our characters into certain specific locations. They actually feel like they go on location on much of this, or at least build sets on much of this movie, and it just looks absolutely ridiculous in the best way. So kind of rounding up Triple R, it is one of the craziest fucking movies. It's 3 hours, and I know that sounds chunky, but hear me out. It's basically paced as if it's 2 separate movies. It's basically the first half and second half. There's actually even a place in the middle where it kind of gives you an intermission spot, so you can, if you need to go use a restroom or whatever. Which, the more I think about it, if you're gonna have 3-hour movies, it should almost, in my opinion, what's a 5-minute or a 5 to 10 minute intermission gonna do? It's gonna allow everybody to get more food, allow you to get your drink. You can sit down and enjoy the rest of the movie. I feel like if these movies are Batman, Avatar, all of these are going to start hitting 3-hour films. If we're going to hit a 3.5-hour film, fucking Gone with the Wind style, give us 10 minutes to break. Let us go look at our phone. We have fucking ADD out the asshole. Every TikTok film is doing beat to bop, 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 and then it's the next film. You know, it's like, there's no time to decompress. And that's why people, individuals don't want to go to theaters these days. You know, the 3-hour RRR film sounds hefty, but you can watch it on Netflix right now in the States. I think it's varied on depending on which place you're in, where your territory is located. But yeah, I love RRR. I've watched it twice. Both times I didn't feel the runtime, and I love the reaction of whoever I was with. You need to watch this with the friends, the girls, the boys, the family. You know, whoever you're watching with, get some drinks, have some fun, choose your vice, have a blast. It is a fucking crazy fucking time. And on top of that, it has killer music. I'm like, this is fucking badass. Like, if you go back and look at a lot of my top 10 movies of the past few years, a lot of them very much focus on being experiences. I want to have an emotional reaction, but if it gets that rhythm right and it has that music to go along with it, I love it that much more. And that's why this hits my number 3 film of 2022, RRR. And I'm trying to get everybody to watch it. I tried to get Corey Coleman on Double Touches to watch it. He hasn't watched it yet. Everyone's like, oh, 3 hours. You won't feel the 3 hours. I've watched so many. I've watched probably 6 10-hour plus TV shows that were nowhere near as good as the experience you're getting with RRR. These guys are going places. They are going to be in more stuff. Check out RRR. Number 2. Ooh, it's coming down. I'll give you a little hint. It's one of my more recent reviews of 2022. We actually did the back-to-back, kind of similar to Top Gun. It's also a sequel. Avatar, The Way of Water. Avatar, The Way of Water. Okay, so just like Top Gun, I said, we went back and watched the first Avatar. So what can we say about Avatar, The Way of the Water? Basically, it's making all the money in the world. I think it's like 5th or 6th top grossing movie ever of all time already. Budget $350 to $460 million, so almost $500 million. It's made almost $2 billion. It's sitting at 1.9 at this moment, so there's undoubtedly it's going to. And of course, if it gets re-released, people are going to continue to see it. Most people don't think it's going to hit the mark that the original one did, but they've already greenlit the other 2 movies as well. So we'll at least get 3 and 4, possibly 5 and 6. Avatar: The Way of the Water. Way of Water. It's an experience. What can I say? You have to go to the theater to feel the experience, and it actually has me thinking about movies a little bit differently these days. That most movies, if not all movies, are shot to be in the movie theater, and which makes me think that all movies are only being specifically shot to be shown in a theater at this point for like 3 or 4 weeks at tops, and then everyone gets to watch it on their television, Netflix, HBO. It's very interesting to think about. So, but it doesn't feel like it should discount the movie any. I have so many classic movies I didn't see in the theaters that I absolutely fell in love with post theaters. Like, I didn't see any of the original movie, Star Wars movies, 70s, in the 70s. All of the Indiana Jones movies, didn't watch those in there. All of the, most of my 90s movies that I've fallen in love, really like, animated or not, all those Disney movies, I didn't watch any of those in theaters, which is just something I was thinking about. I was like, so, we only shoot, the majority of Hollywood, I would assume, is always thinking, or had been thinking up until maybe 2018, 2019, give or take COVID, movie theater, big production, big thing, big kind of, because it's going to theaters, so you got to shoot it big. there's only so many people, so many times that are going to be able to experience the way that media was meant to be shown. Like, James Cameron obviously is going to say, go to the theaters, go watch my movie in 3D, in IMAX, the best whatever quality you can. But let's just say, your grandkids or something like that, they will never have that experience. And I mean, they'll probably have like a VR experience where they can just be in Pandora. Fuck that, But I just think it's kind of interesting to think about, like, all of the theaters and all of the creators of making movies basically are doing 2 or 3 years of work, promotional, behind the camera, in front of the camera, all of the stuff for the average person. Most people are only going to sit in a theater, are only going to see one movie once. So it's just remarkable to think about, but they have to do that for, multiple mass amount of people. I just think of how much time is put into that for an experience specifically to only be experienced for a certain amount of time. It's almost like a play, but the play obviously is live and this is pre-recorded, but you're not getting the same experience. So when I put Avatar this is a long way of me saying, when I put Avatar The Way of Water on number 2 on my list, it's because of the experience I had in the movie theater. I had an emotional reaction. I had a visceral reaction to the 3D coming at me. I was like, this is amazing. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to have that same reaction or that same experience watching it on TV or at home or on a theater or any other style. Maybe even just watching it in theaters again, not in 3D. I've heard people say that, oh, it's just fine. I watched it in regular D. It was a fine movie, but I felt like a third of the experience was the 3D. It was being enclosed in a big soundproof room that is dark and, nobody else is talking in it. It feels like you're overcome with the whales behind you and shit like that. It's just like, it's just an interesting thing for me to think about with regards to the movie experience, So that is why Avatar: The Way of Water, on top of it being, it being an experience, it is very much the experience you have to have in theaters versus, having it at home. So we've come to number 1 on the list. It's a long-awaited list. I know we've done this for several years now, and it is a review that we already have up on YouTube. So be sure to go back and check this one out. And SoundCloud or any other platform that we're on. LuckyDogPodcast.com. Check them out. Everything Everywhere All at Once is my number 1 2022 movie. Now, why is Everything Everywhere All at Once my favorite film of the year? And obviously, subject to change, but I might have a different movie that ends up making 2022 that I haven't seen. But Everything Everywhere All at Once made me feel literally everything everywhere all at once. It made me want to... It's... obviously rewatch it. It made me want to share the experience. I wanted to share this, tell people about it. I wanted them to look at media, look at themselves. This movie opens what feels like the third eye. It feels like an experience that you haven't had before. It's a dish that you've never yet tasted before. And the Daniels and Michelle Yeoh and Kiwon Kwai, what's his name and everything. Let me see. Ki Hugh Kwan and Michelle Yeoh and Stephanie Su, directed by the Daniels. They bring a powerhouse performance. I laughed, I cried, there was action, there was horror, there was every emotion you could possibly think of, even storylines that went in a ridiculous manner that you would never expect to ever work. I'm talking like Ratatouille type shit, and you're like, what the hell? But yeah, I'm telling you, this movie is literally everything everywhere all at once. It'll make you feel so many emotions. You are going to fall in love with these characters. There are lines, taxes, and laundry is a cinematic line that is going to go down in history. Knowing and hearing about the special effects and everything that apparently it was a very small and minimal team that were behind the scenes doing a lot of the effects, I was blown away. This movie feels impossible. Just like a couple other movies on here feel impossible, this movie absolutely feels impossible, and it makes you feel the best in the best way. It's coming of age kind of sounds like, oh, it's a feel good, but it's a coming of age. It's an action film. It's a drama film. It's a comedy. It's everything. It is just so much packed into there. I had no idea. I kind of forgot the Russo brothers from Infinity War and Endgame, and Civil War, Captain America, were all producers in this, as well as the Kwans. But I was, and these are the directors from Swiss Army Man, and that movie it's fun, it's entertaining, it's kind of dramatic comedy as well, Daniel Radcliffe, but it doesn't hit these levels. These levels, I feel like Swiss Army Man had pacing problems. This movie, it feels like it's just an epic fucking build-up, similar to Triple R style, and then the whole second half just feels like the trickling down effect. It is so much fun. It's pure entertainment at its best, and I can't recommend it enough. And of course, it's got some really fun like action scenes. The music, it just goes along with it. I bawled like a baby twice. I showed it to my mother. I wanted her to watch it. She loved it. She said she had crazy dreams watching after she had watched it. She was probably everything everywhere all at once. Oh God, Elias, what did you do? Just spark the tea. Like, oh my gosh, like it was just an experience. I absolutely loved it, and I'm loving to see the people shit on the Golden Globes all the time. The all of the love that everything everywhere all at once is getting is absolutely deserved. It's starting with the Globes, and I think it's just going to be a trickle down effect. I think they need even more. A24 has another banger on their shelf. So, I was they've won 2 Golden Globes, I believe. It was both Michelle Yeoh and Ke Huy Quan. I love this film. But anyways, let's wrap it up. That is the top 10 of 2022. I had top anticipated movies of 2023. Let me see if I can get a quick list up real quick before we hop on out. So, what do we have this coming out this year? Magic Mike's Last Dance. I have not seen any Magic Mike, so I might have to go back and check a couple of those out to get into that. Obviously, Ant-Man and the Wasp and Quantumania. That should be coming out pretty soon. That's in February. Creed 3. I did not see the second one, so I need to catch up on that one. 65 with Adam Driver. Not sure what that is. Scream, 6? I'm a little screamed behind. Shazam! Fury of the Gods. John Wick Chapter 4. Okay. Got Stahelski behind there directing again. I like that. Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves. I've got hope for that. I like Chris Pine, so. Oh, you got Hugh Grant in there too? Oh yeah, let's do that. Super Mario Bros. Got Chris Pratt. I wonder if we can get a voice changer on there and then it'll be good. Evil Dead Rise. I've heard some crazy shit about that. I thought that was a TV show. I didn't realize that. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I think everyone's done. After this one. Especially with James Gunn taking over DC. Oh, we got Fast 10 Family. Not much to say about this one. All I know is that literally all of the directors, and there's been a whole bunch of behind the scenes shit that's been kind of falling through. I'm not exactly sure what kind of state the movie is going to be in. I'm a little bit behind on. Didn't see 9, so I need to catch up with 10. But Fast and Furious, ever since like 8 or 7, since we unfortunately lost Paul, hasn't been as great. But we'll see if they can bring it back. Little Mermaid, I would be more interested in this if it wasn't Rob Marshall. Rob Marshall's he's a safe director, but competent but safe. Spider-Man Across the Universe. I really love the first one. Such an amazing feat. Animation was beautiful. Can't wait for the second one. Transformers: Rise of the Beast. I never was into the Beast. The Flash. The big thing about The Flash, everyone's saying this is going to be a fucking killer movie, but the thing is, obviously, Ezra Miller's been a menace to society, and I don't know if they're going to keep him or not. Then DC's like, we're scrapping the whole fucking thing, except we're going to keep Jason Momoa. He's going to be Lobo, and then we're probably going to keep Ezra. We're going to dip him through rehab for some reason, and then somehow I don't know if we're going to keep him keep him in the DC universe or what. I personally think that he needs to get help, and then show him the exit of DC. I think he's done enough here. But the Andy Muschietti is what's really gotten me really excited. So obviously, I hope that Miller gets his help. I hope he recovers and does what he has to do. But I don't think he should be in this the DC anymore universe. So Indiana Jones and Dial of Destiny. That's a terrible name, but I'm optimistic for it. What do we got? Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. What is with that name? I'm sure it's going to be good because Tom Cruise has this level of standard. And he's like, if it ain't up to my standard, it ain't happening. I didn't realize Oppenheimer was happening next year. Got Florence Pugh, Emily Blunt, Matt Damon, Robert Downey Jr., Rami Malek, Josh Hart, Benny Safdie. Cillian Murphy. Oh my. This is like directed by Chris. No, oh my God. That is an amazing fucking cast. Let's fucking go. Let's see. The Marvels. I don't really know anything about them, so I'm just kind of optimistic, I guess. Got Brie Larson in it. Saw Brie Larson in Room the other day on HBO, and that had me just absolutely bawling in tears. One of her best performances I've ever seen from Larson. Roosevelt by Martin Scorsese starring DiCaprio. It's about Roosevelt starring DiCaprio, I guess, and I don't know anything about that. Oh no. Okay, so Barbie got Greta Gerwig starring, directed by Gerwig, starring Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling. I'm pretty optimistic for that because that's some powerhouse performance and direction behind the camera. August, Blue Beetle, unfamiliar. The Nun 2 in September. Quiet Place spinoff to be decided. Kraven the Hunter 20 is Aaron Taylor Johnson's Kraven the Hunter. I didn't realize that. Got The Exorcist by David Gordon Green. I liked David Gordon Green. Oh, it's got Leslie Odom Jr. And Dowd. Okay, Ellen Burstyn. Okay, we got some. That's going to be an interesting movie. I wonder what Leslie Odom Jr. is. He going to be the priest? So Dune Part 2. Oh my God, that's next year. I love Dune Part 1. I saw that in IMAX in Austin, Texas. Fucking amazing. Hunger Games. I know nothing about them, and doesn't even. It's kind of. It looks like it's like a spinoff. Doesn't even have Jennifer Lawrence in there anymore. Wonka with Timothy Chalamet, directed by Paul King. I don't know anything about this. Starring Rowan Atkinson, Keegan-Michael Key, Sally Hawkins, Olivia Colman. This is an interesting. I don't really. No one here. All of these people are fairly older, so I wonder what kind of origin story we're gonna get here. Oh, The Color Purple. That's in December. Untitled Ghostbusters Afterlife sequel. Yikes! I haven't seen any of that, so I'm not really sure. Oh, Carrie Coon. I like that. I like her. Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom with Jason Momoa is supposed to open Christmas 2023. I'm curious. That's pretty confident for that. I'm wondering if that's the smart thing to do. Christmas time. The Nightingale with Dakota Fanning. I thought that was already out. Both Dakota and Ellie Fanning. And Legally Blonde 3. It's got Jennifer Coolidge, so everyone's going to be seeing that. Yeah, I got an interesting list this year. This is pretty powerful year. If I look at the movies that we have already talked about today, I don't think I anticipated the most of these movies. Obviously, Triple R. So everything I was not expecting: Triple R, Northman, Turning Red, Hustle, The Menu. All those movies I was not expecting. So, yeah, I hope you enjoy the top 10 movies. I'll go back real quick. Top 10, starting The Menu, Nope, Hustle, Top Gun, Maverick, Turning Red, The Batman, The Northman, Triple R, Avatar: The Way of Water, Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. That is the list. You can go scroll down in the podcast or whatever feed you're listening to, YouTube or whatever, to check out the entire list if you want to come back and refer back to it and check them all out. But you can go to LuckyDogPodcast.com and check out the previous year's lists of our top 10 movies if you want to catch up from previous years. Podcasts and everything, maybe catch up to some of the top movies that made it on those lists as well. Again, these are subject to change. I might hate these movies in a week. I might love a whole nother list of movies in another week. It's all subject to change. This is just me, making a condensed list, standing here right now. Was it January 18th, 2023? So I appreciate you listening, watching Lucky Dog Podcast. Go to LuckyDogPodcast.com to support the channel. Links are in below. You can donate. You can go to patreon.com/LuckyDogPodcast to get all of these podcasts early and full and the condensed reviews. The condensed reviews are on YouTube. You can get all of the audio podcasts via. You can obviously get on the Patreon. You can get on the SoundCloud. You can get on the Apple iTunes. All the SoundCloud provided players. Castbox, TuneIn, all of them. So be sure to check out LuckyDogPodcast.com. 5 stars on Apple iTunes Podcast to keep us up in the ratings. Subscribe, like, you know what to do on YouTube. Thank you for listening, watching Lucky Dog Podcast. Take it easy. And also, let me know what your top 10 movies of 2022 are. Thank you. Take it easy.